At state level, medical use of cannabis has been legalized in 40 states and the District of Columbia. The recreational or adult use of cannabis has been approved in the District of Columbia and 24 states. Little by little, state by state, it seems like there is this gradual relaxation and a changing tide or a changing perception of how cannabis is viewed. You can see here that the orange states right here, Idaho, Wyoming, Kansas, South Carolina, these are the only states where cannabis is fully illegal. All of the shades of green, as you can see here, show where cannabis is actually allowed. It's either medical and decriminalized, medical cannabis, or fully decriminalized. So it's these states here, the likes of North and South Dakota, Utah, Oklahoma, and a number of others here that you can see too. And finally, the black, where these are states where cannabis is actually fully legalized already. You can see that there's a gradual changing tide. But while rescheduling cannabis at a federal level has somewhat stalled, what with the DEA putting brakes on any kind of progress right now, there are developments with cannabis policy taking place at the moment with the States Act 2.0. You can see right here it states, States 2.0 Act to ensure that each state has the right to determine for itself the best approach to cannabis within its borders. This legislation also extends to protections to Washington, D.C., US territories, and federally recognized tribal nations. Whether a state is pro-legalization or anti-legalization, we can all agree that the current federal approach to cannabis policy is not working. As President Trump has acknowledged, the existing policy has caused unnecessary harm and squandered taxpayers' dollars by diverting law enforcement resources from combating violent crimes to making needless arrests and facilitating incarcerations for small possessions of state legal marijuana. Whilst it's not the same as rescheduling, the State 2.0 Act will give a lot more autonomy to individual states to give them the self-determination to decide what they think they should do. And in a way, it enables citizens to have their voices heard. There is already the changing tide with cannabis taking place already. We've seen this with the emergence of new products coming out, whether those are cosmetics and health products, ice cream, the emergence of CBD vapes, and other products too, which does show that there is this changing perception of cannabis. My two favorite stocks, Grown Rogue and Glasshouse Brands, have kind of trickled down quite recently. I've made entries just at the end of last year when there was a little bit of hype with the expectation that the rescheduling would go ahead. And it hasn't, and then since then the prices have actually gone down lower than my entry points. And so in particular with these two companies, Grown Rogue, which I've spoken about in a previous video, that I really love as a company, and I explain in that video why, and it's the same with Glasshouse Brands as well. And again, it's looking at things from a bit of a bigger picture, a bit of a macro level, I would say, in the sense of looking at the changing tide that's taking place right now, and thinking that what might happen with this industry as a whole in the next 3 to 5 years to even 10 years from now. How might things change? How might these companies or the industry, the cannabis industry, change? And which companies are the ones that are likely to, propel forward or to benefit from this changing tide or changing perception? Right now, I think the major mistake that a lot of people are doing is that they're just looking at the immediate news. The fact that the DEA have kind of pushed back and paused any procedures from moving forward with the rescheduling of cannabis. But this potentially, for anyone who is a long-term investor who's looking at what might happen in the future, over the next 5 years, let's just say, this could be an opportunity to make an entry at what could be considered a pretty decent price right now. But look, thanks very much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.